good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing today? Hi, this is Jan from New York City. My channel name is Jan from New York City Saves Money. In essence, I love to help people keep their money. There you go. Welcome to the Instant Coffee with Jan show. I hope you got your coffee with you, whether it's instant or not. But I have my instant trusty coffee with me, and definitely have to have that as my eye opener today. Listen, today I want to talk to everyone about raising the bar to savings. I was listening to a fellow YouTuber not long ago, and that person mentioned their numerical goal that they like to reach saving on a monthly basis. And the number was a pretty interesting number. Let's just say it was kind of on the high side for myself personally, but it had me rethinking something. I said to myself, you know something, this person has absolutely the right idea. And I want to talk to you today about raising the bar. What do I mean by that? Do you think sometimes we get into like a complacent, comfortable rut, for example, on certain things? Now, don't get me wrong, I'll always, and forever, as long as possible, implement the idea of the dollar a day savings. That's for anyone that says they can't save. It's a great way to save tiny money, put on your training wheels and get in the habit. That was the whole purpose of that. And that still is the whole purpose of that. Then, of course, I mentioned, of course, the $5 challenge, which is kind of sort of like a game you play whereby anytime you get a $5 bill in your hands, for example, you're not, quote, end of quote, permitted to save, not permitted to save it, but not permitted to spend it. Find different routes to avoid spending it. This is over a course of time that you decide upon yourself. But now let's talk about like savings, like the big time savings, for example. The savings that eventually you may decide to want to eventually invest some. We'll talk about investing, at a later date. Right now we're talking about savings. Now, what do I mean by raising the bar? Let's say a person got complacent in saving. I'm just going to put this number out there. I'm just throwing out this number. It doesn't mean anything to anyone, but $500 a month. Some people might think that that is absolutely undoable, completely unfathomable, and just like insurmountable. While some people might think, what's $500 for me? For example, meaning that person, they could just flick it off their shoulder like a dust mite. No big deal to save or keep $500 a month. Now, for the person that thinks that $500 a month saving is insurmountable, let's put it this way. Can you save $125 a week? And then break it down further, and then you could go do the math and ask yourself, how much does it take per day to save $125 that week? But that's just something that you might choose to do. Now, if your goal is to actually see $500 monthly saved, which is a sweet goal, then you know what my suggestion is? Raise the bar and say, you know what? This month, I'm going to aim to save, whatever number that's much higher. For example, you might choose to say, this month, I'm going to choose to save $700 or $800. Some people go, what? Are you out of your tree, Janet? I can barely save the 500. Well, guess what? By saying the higher number, by raising the bar yourself, and you end up saving the 500, which is what you wanted in the first place for real and for true, perhaps raising that bar was the best thing that could have happened. And you might say to yourself, well, how do I save $500 a month, for example? How much do I have to cut back? We're not going to emphasize on the cutting back. There comes a point where one has to increase the income if they really have these desired savings goals and they really want to hit those goals. Okay, well, how can you raise $500 a month towards saving? That the sky is the limit. There are a lot of jobs out there if you want. There are a lot of things you can do online. And now more than ever, maybe 50, 60 years ago, I would say that people were way more limited. But even a person that doesn't, like to travel a lot or anything could do online jobs. And there are some real online jobs, like W-2 type jobs out there. But it all depends. Ask yourself, do you want to save that 500 a month or more? It doesn't have to stop at 500, obviously. You have to sit down and think about it. Sometimes people, I'm not saying you directly, but sometimes there are people that go through life and they drift like a balloon from place to place. We just drift through every single month, like from place to place monthly. And there's no clear goals. There's no clear plan. And then they look back, let's say at the end of the year, and then they're reassessing for the new year, and they're looking at their list of accomplishments, e.g., for example, savings, and they go, gee, I didn't get to save much this year, huh? Well, if a person is going to not plan, not sit down, and not choose to make deliberate positive choices, what kind of a result do you think you're going to get? The person should expect to get the same result they might have gotten the year before, and the year before that. Does that make sense? Of course, that makes sense. So, if your end of the day goal or end of the month goal, I should say, is to actually see, let's say, 500 bucks more in your account month in and month out, then raise the bar in your mind to 700, 800. Hey, imagine this. Imagine if you designed a plan that worked out and you really did see that $800 extra a month to save or to utilize or to keep or to utilize for things that went on your wish list like forever ago. You know what I'm trying to say? So, what we need to do, every single one of us, is raise the bar. I'm really glad, for example, that I heard that specific video because it resonated to me. I said, you know what, Janet, I think it's time for you to raise the bar a little bit. You have to, I mean, not saying that the numbers that I always, ascertain aren't okay. They're okay, but they're not fantastic. I'm just saying the truth. Sometimes I'm just saying the truth. Sometimes every one of us gets to get into a little comfortable little rut. Yeah, that smaller number is okay. Well, why can't the number be bigger? See, we're all limited to the decisions that we make. We are limited to the choices that we have designed in the back of my mind's eye. A lot of people say, but I can't. I can't. There are cases where people don't realize it's not a question of they can't, but they just forgot, got in a comfortable rut, or in plain English, they just don't. They just don't, and they just won't. Could that be anybody listening? It's possible. It's possible. So, therefore, let's all of us make a decision. Let's say that you never save anything. And for you to start with your training wheels for the dollar a day is your big goal. And I'm totally happy for you. Get started on that. Why not? Let's say you want to graduate and do $2 a day. Hey, be my guest. Please do that. Who couldn't use an additional 62 bucks in their pocket every month? If the fun challenge of the $5 bill thing is something that really grabs you, go for it. But then if you sit down to decide to really get into it, and you want to raise the bar to your main savings plan, then it's possibly time to rev it up. If you were comfortable, let's say, just saving 300 a month, push it to 500, the number. See if you could do it. You want to know something? I know we could. There you go. Just have to figure out the plan. Hey, listen, I always say this because this is true. The difference between success and failure has no plan. Failure has no plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. It's just that simple. I didn't write that, but it is the truth. All right, everybody, listen. Until next time, I hope everybody has an amazing, fantastic day. Take good care. Bye-bye.